Welcome to this brand new episode of Nerd Central. I'm your host, Mary Grace Rice, and we have a great show for you guys this week. We have another installment of Mighty Morphin Madness, review over the 2005 King Kong film, and the 1988 classic Land Before Time. Plus, I have a very special top 5 list you won't want to miss, and we debate who is the best doctor from Doctor Who on Nerd Showdown. Let's start this episode with a little bit of movie news. Last week, I gave you a review of the third Cloverfield movie, The Cloverfield Paradox. Well, now it seems as the fourth film in franchise is already done filming. Codenamed Overlord, the supposed fourth film is set in World War II during D-Day as American forces try to fight supernatural forces as part of a Nazi experiment. It is reported to be hitting theaters on October 26th, but with the Cloverfield Paradox reported to be released in April and it being released in early February, I wouldn't trust any release date when it comes to this franchise. We'll just have to wait and see. The premise of the film seems very intriguing, but if it's anything like what I experienced in the third one, we might be in for another bomb. In other news, the next film in Pixar's long history of films got another look during the Olympics. The Incredibles 2 gave us a 90-second trailer showcasing more of what the film will be about. This time around, Elastigirl is the one forced back into the superhero business, and Mr. Incredible being the one at home taking care of the kids. Sam Jackson, Holly Hunter, Craig T. Nelson, John Ratzenberger, Brad Bird, and Sarah Vowell are all returning to their respective roles. This film will be released on June 15th of this year. Finally, a sequel to one of the most beloved films in Pixar. Now we're going to take it to Haley Southard's review of The Land Before Time. Haley?
Hi, this is Haley Southard from Nerd Central, and today I will be talking about one of the most classic animated movies ever made, The Land Before Time. Main characters include Littlefoot, Ducky, Sarah, Spike, Petrie, and full of action, excitement, comedy, and adventure. This movie is made for everyone, young and old. The character's main goal throughout the movie is to reach the Great Valley. To all the characters in The Land Before Time, the Great Valley is looked upon as a utopian-like paradise, a place where everybody gets along. The Land Before Time is about 5 friends who overcome struggles, sorrow, on an adventure to survive together. The reason I like this movie is the unique personalities to each character, as well as the theme throughout the movie. The acknowledgement and the acceptance of those who are different from you.
Mother, what's a long neck?
Why, that's what we are, dear.
Oh. Well, why can't I play with that 3-horn? We were having fun.
Well, we all keep to our own kind. The 3 horns, the spiked tails, the swimmers, the flyers. We never do anything together.
Why?
Well, because we're different.
Through hard work, persistence, and passion, that by working together you can accomplish anything.
Littlefoot, you found it! Yup, yup, yup. We did it!
Some things you see with your eyes. Others you see with your heart.
That's all from me. This is Haley Southard from Nerd Central. Stay nerdy.
Thanks, Haley. I absolutely adore this movie. This movie was literally my childhood. Now, let's talk about another piece of movie news. The Murder on the Orient Express is getting a sequel. The next film will be an adaptation of Death on the Nile. The book by Agatha Christie follows Poirot as he investigates, you guessed it, a death on the Nile River. Kenneth Branagh is expected to return as Poirot and director of the film. The film is scheduled to release on November 8th of 2019. In the same press release, 20th Century Fox also moved a couple of big movies around on their schedule. The first is Alita: Battle Angel. The film follows Alita as she tries to discover the truth to who she is and her determination to change the world. It was originally going to release on August 3rd of this year, but switched places with another Fox title, The Darkest Minds, to September 14th of this year. As long as the movies are done when they come out, I don't care how long it takes a movie to be released. I don't want another mustache situation. I'm looking at you, Justice League. We're going to take a short break, but first, here's Keenan Cooper with his review of the 2005 version of King Kong.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Keenan Cooper, and today I have something very special for you here on Nerd Central. I'm going to be reviewing the 2005 production of King Kong. But enough monkey business. Let's get to the film. Set in 1933, Carl Denneman is on a mission to make his movie by filming it at the perfect location. But before he can do that, he must find a woman to play the lead role in his production. Ann Darrow is that woman. Out of the thousands of actresses without work in New York, Ann is found and takes on this role for Carl. Now with a woman to play the lead, all he must do is find the location of film. After acquiring a map that supposedly leads to a mysterious place called Skull Island, Carl hires a ship crew to take him and his cast to travel to the mysterious island to film his production. When traveling to this island, they have no idea what they will encounter, or if the island even exists. But what they come to find is definitely more than they bargained for. What they do not know is that it is very much inhabited and filled with many different creatures, but none more fearsome than Kong, a monstrous ape. Ann is then captured and tied up, but as Carl looks through the fence to see where Ann is, she is taken right from the ropes that she is bound with. Now with Ann captured, Carl, along with Jack Driscoll, a playwright who is also Ann's lover, are forced to search all through the island to find Ann. Along the journey, they fight all kinds of creatures, each deadly in their own way. The crew encounters all kinds of dinosaurs, bugs, and other creatures as they attempt to rescue Ann. For if they do not hurry, it could be too late. Towards the end of the film, when you see the battle has now moved back to the city, our hearts drop as we see King Kong has been killed. To me, this production encapsulates everything you should look for in an amazing film. I love this movie because of the rich and deep storyline that explained every single second and why it was so important. I believe I enjoyed this movie because of the interesting storyline, the combination of fear from the intense fighting scene, the love shared not only between Ann and Jack, but the love shared between Kong and Ann. Towards the end of the film, all the excitement and everything that was happening kept me interested every second. There was always something to be thinking about, from the opening moments in New York, to the scary moments on the island, to seeing King Kong fight for his life. And then the climax, where Kong's life was taken. The slow motion scene as Kong is falling off the building, and you see Ann's face looking down at him, as if she is lost and doesn't know what to do. A story about love, fear, and excitement. A story about loss, discovery. Universal truly outdid themselves with this film. Thanks everyone. This has been Keenan Cooper for Nerd Central in my review of King Kong.
Welcome back to Nerd Central, and you just saw Keenan Cooper's review of the 2005 version of King Kong. Coming up, we have my very special top 5 list, but first, let's take it to another installment of Mighty Morphin Madness with Zach Brown. Zach?
Welcome to another episode of Mighty Morphin Madness with me, your host, Zach Brown, where we're going to talk about everybody's favorite teenagers with attitude, the Power Rangers.
What is that odious stench? Smells like teenagers.
In this special episode of Mighty Morphin Madness, I sat down and interviewed Court Jensen, a member of Nerdmageddon and a fellow Power Rangers lover. I first asked Court how he was introduced to the Power Rangers.
I got introduced to Power Rangers back when it, probably 93 or 94 when it originally aired. I was about 11-ish, something like that. It it was very, whatever channel it happened to be on, it was very, very early on, like early in the morning. I had to get up. It was like a arduous journey to watch Power Rangers. I had like sleep in my eye, but I was going to get up. I was determined to see this show that I had heard about, that I was very curious about, and so I was going to soldier through it, and I was going to get up at 5 or 6 or whenever it was on.
I then asked what some of his first reactions to the show were.
I grew up loving like Jackie Chan, early Jackie Chan movies, Bruce Lee movies, and then the Godzilla movies, the kaiju Godzilla movies. I grew up watching them, and this was like an amalgamation of like all of those. It was everything I loved from my childhood, like Voltron, Transformers, ninja stuff. It was all thrown in the show, and my first reaction was, wow, it was crazy. And then I had like the acting's, yeah, it's different. So it's like, but it was good for the time. It was like I was into the TGIF like shows like Family Matters and Full House, so they had a bit of cheese to them, so it like fit with that kind of niche that I liked. So yeah.
I also asked if he, as a kid, had any Power Rangers toys or merchandise.
Yeah, the neighborhood kids were also equally involved in Power Rangers and watching it together. We had all the dinosaurs all the Zords to transform into Megazord. We had kind of the life-size weapons, the flute, and just the Megazords, and like all the action figures. We had a sticker book, and so we'd go to this place called Ventures. It's kind of like a Target, and we'd get these sticker packs, and we'd like put them on there, and they would tell a story or something. I can't remember, but I just knew we collected all this stuff, and each of the neighborhood kids had their own like toys that they would bring. We didn't have them all, like nobody had like all of them together, so we had to join forces just like the Power Rangers.
Finally, I asked his opinion on last year's Power Rangers movie.
Yeah, last year's Power Rangers. I didn't initially get to see it at the movie theater, but I did watch it, and it was cool. I was surprised. They did a good job, I thought. It didn't get enough love that it deserved, but even on like major geek websites, they counted it as kind of an underdog movie that surprised a lot of people. It was done. It had its problems. Yeah, Goldar was a giant piece of gold. I would have liked him to look better. I would have liked the Zords to maybe look better, but I initially heard about Bryan Cranston. That is awesome. And then I heard about like Alpha 5 being voiced by SNL's Bill Hader, and I thought that was perfect. And just the edginess, the Breakfast Club-esque world that they developed, I thought was really cool.
This has been Mighty Morphin Madness. Now back to Nerd Central.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, too hot to handle.
Thanks, Zach and Court. Great discussion, you guys. Let's talk about some TV news. A hit USA Network show is returning for an 8th season, but it will say goodbye to 2 of its stars. Suits has been renewed for its 8th season, but Patrick J. Adams and Meghan Markle, who play Mike Ross and Rachel Zane in the show respectively, will not be returning. No word on why they are leaving, but Markle might be busy planning her wedding to Prince Harry. You know, that small thing. In their absence, Dulé Hill, who plays Alex Williams in the last 7 episodes of Season 7, has been promoted to series regular, and Katherine Heigl of Grey's Anatomy fame signing on to a new series regular in Samantha Wheeler, a new partner in the firm who challenges the status quo and could become the firm's ally or greatest foe. No word yet on when the 8th season will air, but when we find out, we'll be sure to let all you guys know that as well. Now let's take it to my list of the top 5 times Neville has been heroic in the Harry Potter films. Neville is heroic from the beginning. He comes from this tragic family story, but he doesn't lead with it. He's a loyal friend, is committed to the fight for what's right without needing to be the star or get any credit, and that's what I really love most about him. He's never abandoned anyone, but he still stands up to people when he doesn't agree with them, even when they're his friends, which leads me to his first heroic moment when, in his first year, Neville stood up to Ron, Harry, and Hermione while they were trying to find the Sorcerer's Stone. Although he didn't win the confrontation, Neville's actions were still heroic, and as a bonus, he earns 10 points for Gryffindor. In the words of Dumbledore,
"It takes a great deal of bravery to stand up to your enemies, but a great deal more to stand up to your friends."
Next, in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, when Harry Potter is competing in the Triwizard Tournament and is looking for a solution for the water portion of the tournament, who helps him out? That's right, Neville does. He uses his knowledge of herbology and gives Harry gillyweed, which is a plant that allows him to breathe underwater. Without Neville, let's face it, Harry probably would have been screwed. Neville's third heroic moment is displayed during the Department of Mystery battle in the Order of the Phoenix. Neville was the one who convinced Harry to let other Dumbledore army members come and help fight. And while he's there, Neville stands and fights and risks his own life so Harry Potter can fulfill his prophecy. Now, the fourth heroic moment of Neville is when he basically holds down the fort at Hogwarts. Professor Snape is in charge, and while the trio is out fighting Horcruxes, it's up to Neville to keep the Dumbledore army torch burning. He continues to hold meetings, form secret passageways, and even recruits more wizards. This just shows off Neville's true leadership ability. Finally, we are down to what many people consider Neville's most memorable heroic moment, when he kills the snake Nagini. This is significant for multiple reasons. First, he fearlessly faces the Dark Lord among all of his dangerous followers. Second, the Sword of Gryffindor literally presented itself to him, proving his bravery and loyalty. And third, it was the last Horcrux that allowed Tom Riddle to finally die. This scene is just epic, and thinking about it really makes me want to binge watch this awesome series. So, I probably will. This has been Mary Grace Rice reviewing for Nerd Central. Thanks, me. Fun fact, Matthew Lewis, the man who played Neville, was at Planet Comic-Con in Kansas City, an event we were fortunate enough to attend. We will show you guys our experience there in the weeks to come. That's going to do it for this week's Nerd Central. Nerd Showdown is next. You can get caught up on all of the previous episodes on the KNWT YouTube page, and also follow KNWT on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and follow Nerd Central on Twitter at nerd_central_TV. The best doctor from Doctor Who will be decided after the break. Stay with us.
Get ready for the Smackdown!
Hello and welcome to Nerd Showdown, the part of Nerd Central where we battle it out on a particular topic we have no business debating. I'm your host, Evan Van Zant, and with the recent introduction of the 13th regeneration of the Doctor, we ask the question, who is the best Doctor from Doctor Who? Keep in mind, our fighters will be diving deep into their respective episodes, so this is your official spoiler warning. Let's introduce our fighters. To my right, I have Gen 2 host Mackenzie Doherty. Mackenzie, which Doctor have you chosen?
I'm doing the 9th Doctor.
And to my left, I have Channel 8 news reporter Molly Gardner. Molly, who have you chosen?
I've chosen the 10th Doctor.
The rules are simple. Each competitor will have a 2-minute opening statement during which they must only talk about good things about their Doctor. In round 2, each competitor will have 90 seconds to cross-examine their opponent's choice. If they don't comply with these rules in rounds 1 or 2, I have the right to stop them and inform them that they have forfeited the rest of their time. For round 3, both competitors will have 60 seconds for a closing argument where they recap anything they've said in the first 2 rounds and may bring new facts to the table to help their argument. After that, yours truly will decide who walks away the victor based solely on the arguments made during the showdown. Now that that's out of the way, let's showdown!
Let's kick it, let's all get wicked. Put your hands in the sky for a one-way ticket. Come on, everybody, gonna start this party. If we turn it to 11, then we can't go home.
Up first is Mackenzie. Mackenzie, you have 2 minutes to talk about your Doctor, Christopher Eccleston. Your time starts now.
Okay, so he was the first Doctor I was actually introduced to by one of my friends, so that'll always hold a little special place in my heart. Also, from doing a little bit of research and looking back into the other Doctors, completely different look. he's dressed very minimally and not wanting to stand out, whereas like all the previous doctors and some of the other ones are like, let's stand out as much as possible even though we're trying to blend in.
All right, a solid argument from Mackenzie. Molly, here's your chance. Your time starts now.
I agree with you. Christopher was a good doctor, but if you were to show anyone who is mildly interested in Doctor Who, you would show them the episode Blink, because not only are they getting shown the monsters of Doctor Who, they're getting shown the compassion of David Tennant, and the fact that time travel is really interesting. We get some of the best lines from that episode, like the wibbly wobbly quote.
All right, Mackenzie, it is your turn to tear down David Tennant. Do you think you could do it?
I could try.
90 seconds, starting now.
Okay, I agree. Tennant is pretty cool and everything, and I do like him, but he also, when he said in his regeneration he didn't want to go, see, I take that and some other people take that as he liked this regeneration too much and he didn't want to give it up to anyone else. He also just tried to run away from the inevitable. He tried to have fun and everything. He didn't think as serious as possible most of the time.
Molly, you're up. 90 seconds, starting now.
You want to talk about getting selfish? He literally stole Rose and was just like, oh, you're coming with me now. Like, there was no point, like, in keeping her around. Like, he had just met her and then all of a sudden they're going off into space together? What? That doesn't happen.
All right, down to the wire, 60 seconds left. Mackenzie, Destroyer.
Okay, sure. Eccleston didn't have that long of a run, but he was personally probably one of the best people to introduce Doctor Who to, because he wasn't super like eccentric, or he wasn't super dark, he wasn't fun or angry or anything. He was super out there. He was just kind of himself, and dang, too into it. So I think he's a good person to introduce him to, because while he didn't have a long run, he also got so much accomplished.
All right, Molly, here it is, the final stretch. Put her down.
As he's leaving, David Tennant, as the 10th Doctor is regenerating, he wants to go around to his companions and see how they are living out their lives. So don't tell me that it was Stockholm Syndrome, because he checked in on Rose as he was dying, and it was beautiful. He also made sure Donna was okay, that Martha was okay, that everyone was okay. And that's all you need in the Doctor, is to make sure that he knows that you are okay.
That is going to do it for this week's Showdown. And in my infinite wisdom, the winner is Mackenzie.
What?
So much anger from everyone.
I'm so confused.
You can head to Nerd Central's Twitter to show your support for this week's Showdown. Nerdmageddon is coming up next. And speaking of Nerdmageddon, you can catch them every Thursday live on KNWT's Facebook page or on X106 KZLX. We'll see you next week for more Nerd Central. Hello and welcome to Nerd...
Have you never watched it?
Have you never watched anything I've been on?
Yeah. I don't think you're actually that loud.
I am generally much louder.
Okay. It's not going to be like this, trust me. I just got to get my shakes out. Me shakes.
All right, back to the top.
One more time. If this is written right, it'd be easier.
Fair enough.